Welcome to Drawing Together with me. We are continuing on tanglepatterns.com. For the new of you, that is a homepage where they collect a lot of tangle patterns, and I started from one end of the patterns and I'm going all the way through one by one, and we reached this pattern today. If you want to find some of the other patterns, I will link in the info box below for my play list for all the patterns that we have done so far. So I hope you will enjoy this one. Let's open up the book for it and find a space to place this one. So this one is kind of a grid pattern, so we need a little more space. Actually, I think I'm gonna pop it in right here, and I am using my Micron 01 in black. You can use a other kind of fine liner. So with this one, it's more like a line grid than a square grid. So I'm just starting with making a line, and we are of course going behind when we hit another pattern. And I'm trying to make my rooms between my lines big enough for these patterns to be in. Don't make them too small, the rooms, because that will not help you anyway in the long run. Then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna pop in a tiny dot here in a straight line, on the straight line, in a straight line. And I'm going to make them as if they were squares, or the corners of squares. Going up and doing them here and here and up there. There we go. So that's the first part. Then we're gonna make these tethers line that starts on a dot and ends on a dot, and again we are going behind if we meet a pattern. And I'm gonna do this all the way down my pearl thread here. So I should have one right there, and it would be coming out around there, and then of course the next line. And we're gonna do this on all the lines we have. And I'm taking my time so that I make these patterns just like I want them to look like. Then we're going to make kind of a small line here in between, and we're gonna pop a little dot on each end of the line. That was a wonky dot. And I'm gonna do that everywhere where we have this connection here. Don't make this line too long, because that will be a problem later. Oh, I forgot one here. Let me quickly do that one. There we go. And then continue over here. So a little line and a dot. I think we can see some of the line here. Maybe also a little of it right here. And we would have it around, oh, that was almost too long. You don't want them to hit in the middle. So that's that. Then we are gonna pop in a dot here in the middle, in between everything. There's a lot of dots in this little pattern. You won't see that one. Yeah, I I think that's it. And then I'm gonna connect them. So I make a line from this dot to this dot. And same here. And out there and back again. And again here. Between the dots. And I'm gonna do that all the way down my line here. Of course up. Down here. And that's why these two lines should not connect at all at the middle, and this was a little too long of a line. And there you can see the shape get wonky if your lines are too long in between. It's a very interesting pattern. I kind of like the way it turns out when it's all done. It's very unique, and I like that. And that's a pattern. There's nothing more to it. So that's a very easy pattern. Let me go in with my red, Scarlet red here. I was thinking about coloring in these diamond shapes. Just a tiny bit of this charcoal, because it is more than enough for coloring in the whole piece. And don't push it into the paper, because then you won't be able to push the color around afterwards. So a light touch of the charcoals. And then I'm just gonna go in here with my Tortillion and soften out the color. And if you get it a little too much out of your lines and places, you can always erase this one. That's really neat. Just taking my time with this. Like that. I think that turned out pretty good. Let me take my graphite here, and I was thinking about popping in a tiny bit at each end of these rice corn shapes to give it a little more interest. Shading. Just a tiny bit. We don't want it to be all gray. Taking my Tortillion for my charcoal and carefully smush that out a tiny bit in each ends of these rice corn shapes. I like that. We could go in with a tiny bit of this yellow ochre and maybe place a little here in this little point here. And I'm doing it everywhere. You could do every second or just one side of it and leave it by that. Again, I'm taking my Tortillion to soften that out. Ah, I forgot one. Like that. I don't want to color in this room here all the way. I'm just gonna make kind of a shadowy effect with this color, making it a little more interesting to look at. There we go. So that was the pattern for today. I actually think it turned out pretty good and it fits very nice right there. It was this pattern right here. I hope you enjoyed that one. I did. Thank you for watching. Have an attitude of gratitude.